Also known as the Pope of Fashion, Bernard Arnault is a successful businessman, investor, and the proud owner of a massive empire that would put most business moguls to shame. And because of all of his accomplishments, you can enjoy a lavish lifestyle filled with expensive jets, houses, and luxury experiences that most of us mere mortals can only dream of. Now, if you are curious to know how the second richest man in the world enjoys his fortune, stay tuned, because that's exactly what we are going to talk about. You are watching The Lifestyle of Bernard Arnault, and in this video I am going to show you what's the lifestyle of Bernard Arnault, how does he like to spend his fortune, and also how did he make so much money. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We here at Top 10 Luxury Edition are always uploading videos for you to take a sneak peek into the world of luxury. And if you like this type of content, also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Without further ado, here is the lifestyle of Bernard Arnault. Well, Bernard Arnault was born in Roubaix, France, way back in 1949. At the time, his father used to run a successful civil engineering company with hundreds of employees and millions in yearly revenue. And young Bernard Arnault always looked up to him and wanted to follow in his footsteps. And because of that, he went on to one of the most prestigious colleges in France to pursue an engineering degree, and as soon as he graduated, he started to work under the guidance of his father. Turns out this was a turning point in his life, because it was there that he learned all the nuts and bolts of business and entrepreneurship. But it wasn't until much later that Bernard Arnault shifted his focus to the fashion industry. For instance, Christian Dior, which was already a well-known fashion house at the time, had declared bankruptcy and was selling for pennies on the dollar. And so Bernard, like a true businessman, was quick to spot this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and snatched up the brand and all of its assets for little more than $15 million at the time. And since he was already an experienced and talented entrepreneur who knew how to run businesses, he soon turned the Christian Dior brand into a household name once again. It was at that point that Bernard Arnault figured out that buying luxury brands and turning them into powerhouses was an extremely profitable business model, and so he continued to do it. Fast forward to today, thanks to his business skills, vision, and unique business model, Bernard Arnault is the second richest man in the world and head of the Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy conglomerate, or LVHM for short, which is the undisputed leader of the luxury goods industry. After all, it employs more than 150,000 people, makes more than $500 billion in yearly revenue, and has more than 70 famous luxury brands under its umbrella. Now, what's interesting about LVHM is that it controls most of the famous luxury brands. Brands such as Tag Heuer, Givenchy, Louis Vuitton, Hublot, and many others. But most people have no idea that they are under the control of the same person. Heck, some people even think that they are competitors fighting to the death. And that, according to Bernard Arnault himself, is one of his secrets for success. In his own words, "All that interests me is promoting my brands, never myself." Now, with an empire like that, it goes without saying that Bernard Arnault is a very rich man. For instance, his net worth is currently valued at a whopping $196 billion, thanks mostly to his massive stake at the LVHM conglomerate, which has seen its share prices more than double in the span of only 13 months, and, in turn, made his personal fortune grow more than $100 billion in the same time span. In fact, his personal fortune grew so fast that he briefly became the richest man in the world. However, Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and CEO, quickly surpassed him, and now Bernard Arnault holds second place on the list. Now, in his free time, Bernard Arnault loves to play tennis, and he is frequently seen playing against some of the best tennis players in the world. The most notable one being Roger Federer, the Swiss professional tennis player and by far one of the most accomplished athletes in the sport, who also happens to be one of his close friends. What's more, Arnault is also an avid piano player, which, aside from his family and his business, is probably his biggest passion in life. For instance, listening to classical music is part of his morning ritual, and he occasionally takes breaks from his busy schedule to play the piano. And since he has access to some of the best teachers and piano instructors in the world, he honed his skills to the point where he can easily play at concerts. And some say that he used his incredible piano skills and talent to court his current wife, Helene Mercier, who is also very passionate about piano and is a professional concert pianist. Well, if this story is indeed true, turns out that it cemented their bond even more, because they have been married for more than 30 years. Now, Bernard Arnault also loves to travel, but you won't be seeing him on any commercial jet anytime soon. After all, he has 2 private jets that can take him literally anywhere in the world. The most notable one being the Bombardier Global 7500, the world's largest business jet. This brilliant masterpiece has an extremely large cabin to allow passengers to hold business meetings during the flight, a luxurious interior decoration, and a maximum capacity of 18 passengers. Well, the Bombardier 7500 cost more than $73 million, but I am sure that it is nothing but chump change for him. And when Bernard Arnault wants to relax and wind down a little bit, he hops on one of his private planes and heads to his private island on the heart of the Caribbean, which he bought for a whopping $35 million. His island goes by the name of Indigo, and it is a paradisiac place with white sand beaches, pristine blue waters, and 135 acres of land for him to be left alone to his thoughts and come up with brilliant ideas for his business. And since he is the head of Royal Van Lent and Princess Yachts, two of the most renowned luxury yacht makers in the world and part of the LVHM conglomerate, he owns several private yachts, the most notable one being the Symphony Super Luxury Yacht, a 101-meter-long gorgeous vessel with 4 floors, 8 staterooms, and a private deck with panoramic views of the ocean. What's more, the interior design of the yacht is impeccable to say the least, with high-end luxury furnishings, hardwood decoration, and an upscale atmosphere that will make you feel like a true member of the high society. And if all of that luxury wasn't enough already, Bernard Arnault lives with his wife in one of the biggest and most luxurious castles in Europe. This giant castle is located in Bordeaux, France, and it's equipped with a private pool deck, a maze garden, and is entirely decorated with works of art from notable artists such as Pablo Picasso and Andy Warhol. Now keep in mind that this is only one of his personal homes, because Bernard Arnault owns a massive real estate empire, and he has homes in Paris, London, and even in Beverly Hills. And all of them are spectacular when it comes to their inside and outside designs. But don't you think that Bernard Arnault spends most of his days having fun and spending his fortune? After all, achieving a high level of success doesn't happen by accident, and Bernard Arnault had to carefully design his daily habits to maximize his productivity and efficiency. For instance, he goes to bed at the same time every day, and he tries to get at least 7 hours of sleep in order to perform at his best. And his daily schedule is jam-packed with meetings and networking events with highly influential heads of state, media moguls, and other successful businessmen. For instance, he is frequently seen alongside the most influential leaders in the world, such as the former US President Donald Trump, Emmanuel Macron, and even Vladimir Putin. What's more, even though Bernard Arnault is the head of the company, he hates spending his day at the office, and so he tries to visit as many stores to get in touch with those working on the front lines of the company. According to him, his company must behave as if they are still a startup, and so people must stay in close contact with the customer and not away from them inside a boring and dull office. And to add a little bit of fun into his workdays, he also likes to spend time fleshing out concepts and coming up with new ideas with designers, marketers, and other creative people within the company. After all, their work is as unpredictable as it gets, and this way, Bernard Arnault can keep his creative juices flowing. And according to him, being closely involved in the creative process is what has allowed his company to achieve its unheard-of levels of success. But even though he considers most of the habits we've just talked about to be extremely important, he credits most of his success to the fact that LVHM is run similarly to a family business. After all, 2 of his 5 sons are part of the board of directors of the company, and needless to say, he loves his family dearly, and he has been training and mentoring his sons to inherit his massive empire one day. Some of that, according to him, will only happen if they prove to be capable of running the company, which is something that only time will tell. And if you think that now, at more than 72 years of age, Bernard Arnault is already thinking of scaling back on his work schedule to enjoy his personal fortune, you couldn't be more wrong, because he now has even bigger plans of expanding the LVHM conglomerate. For instance, he already has a few more luxury brands on his radar to acquire. And he also has big and bold plans of expanding his business operations through e-commerce and digital marketing, a trend that has begun since the start of the coronavirus pandemic and allowed his company to keep operating at full steam despite the lockdowns. Bernard Arnault now lives by the motto of seizing the initiative, a phrase that, he says, means one should always be in tune with the world, grasp its changes, and capitalize on opportunities as soon as they present themselves. And if we are being honest with one another, there is simply no better way to describe his philosophy about life, business, and work. After all, during the biggest pandemic in centuries, a time where most businesses were struggling to make ends meet, his fortune soared. Alright, and this was the lifestyle of Bernard Arnault. As you can see, Bernard Arnault is a man who likes to live his life to the fullest, and no matter if it is traveling, working, or playing, he is always after thrilling experiences and trying his best. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think about Bernard Arnault's story? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.